Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Ip Man 4. This is the fourth and I think final movie in this series, outside of spin-offs and whatnot. This came out in 2019, and yeah, I'm very excited to see how this saga closes out. This is a donation reward from Matthew Vasquez. Let's get that out of the way. So thank you, as always, Matthew, for donating for this. So I don't know where this one's going to go. The last time we had more of a personal rivalry kind of story. And Bruce Lee was in there briefly. I wonder if we're going to actually get to more with Bruce Lee in this movie, maybe? I don't know. Because the thing is, you got to make it very clear that these movies are fiction. Like, I think the first movie had some basis in reality, but it was a very fictionalized version of it, of events that did happen. And I think every movie since then is more or less an original story. Just, because you got to have a cool story for a kung fu movie. Um, it's vaguely and barely based on real events from the life of this karate or kung fu master. Um, so I am curious to see where they take it in this one. I also think like the one previous to this was like a lot earlier. Let me check real quick. Because this is, like I said, was 2019. Like, that's not that long ago. Uh, Let me see. Ip Man 3. Okay, Ip Man 3 was 2015. Not as long beforehand as I thought. 2015 to 2019, that's only 4 years. Um, but still, 4 years between two movies is still a good amount of time. I'm wondering like how much better the production's going to be on this, how much more interesting it's going to be, what kind of different routes it's going to take. I wonder if it will have a big name in it, like we had Mike Tyson in the last one. I don't know. I know nothing about where this goes at all, but I am definitely interested. So, yeah, outside of this, like I said, I think there's only like a spin-off or two. But this is it for the main story, for now at least. It's been 4 years since this came out, but there could be another one coming at some point. I don't know. And just as a note, we will be reacting to this offline, just because of subtitles. Because as you know, like we've had this issue with, I think a couple of the past ones, if not almost every one. Um, but when we try to get a movie like this that's in another language without subtitles, when we have to have subtitles, oftentimes the downloaded version just doesn't have them. So if you watch online, you have the subtitles. So that's what we're going to do. Because we need to know what they're saying. We might be able to like follow along a little bit with what's happening otherwise, but not very well. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how this closes out. And for the time being, unless Matthew, you end up donating for the spinoff or whatnot, this will close out our saga of reactions to this series too. But let us get into this and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, right off the bat, I looked up some stuff in between, and apparently, apparently there is going to be an Ip Man 5. It was revealed earlier this year. And I'm just wondering, like obviously they can have it at a different period in his life and everything, or maybe like have like someone like talks of someone carrying on the character's legacy and having him be shown like flashbacks. I don't know. I couldn't find any like there's not really specific information. It's just like confirmed. Donnie Yen shared a poster, but that's basically it. That I could find, at least through the little bit of research I did. And after watching this movie, like finding that out kind of feels like a Toy Story 4 situation. And if you, hopefully you know what I mean. Like with Toy Story, the series ended properly with the third. It felt like a proper send-off to the entire series. Everything felt right, and there was not only no need for another, but another movie kind of just invalidates everything the third is about. And the fourth Toy Story, it also didn't help that the fourth Toy Story was also shit. The worst one in the series by far, in terms of quality. And part of that, yes, was just because the fact that it shouldn't exist, and it undermined the entire theme and idea of the third film. But it was just also not good, just in general. It kind of feels like that, and I don't know if it's going to end up being like that. The fifth Ip Man could be really good. It could end up surprising. And honestly, with how good these films just tend to be, I honestly believe it probably will be good. But it still feels unnecessary. This film felt like a proper send-off. It felt like the conclusion to this story that we were being told, to this character's life. And again, obviously these movies are based off of a real person, but are very like fictionalized stories. So it's like it's still its own thing, and it feels like just we don't need any more. Again, this movie felt like it closed everything out. Doing anything more at this point would feel like a decision built purely on greed, the desire for more money and everything, rather than any actual valid reasoning. And it sucks because this movie was so good. From the performances to obviously the kung fu to the emotional beats of it, the heart of this film was amazing. But there's also a profound sadness to it. And not just because of Master Ip's cancer, but in the end, he chose to not go to America with his son, to not bring his son to America and, join a school there. Instead, to teach him martial arts back home in China. He chose to avoid moving there because of all the issues involved in that time in American history, with racism especially. That was a major theme of this movie. And racism has been to some degree I think all of these movies, but it was especially prevalent in this one. Um, Having us focus so heavily on these characters being in America and dealing with these terrible white people. We're just being honest, these terrible white people who are exceptionally racist and evil towards them. And all of these troubles that just constantly berates them or barrages them. Um, it's horrific. And yeah, since the time period this took place in, we have gotten better, but we're still not there. Racism is still very strong here in America and just around the world in general. Racism is not solved. So many people act like it's solved, like it's the thing of the past. It's not. Racism is still very alive and very much a problem, and it's terrible that in 2023 you still say that. It's like, what, almost 50 years after the events of when this takes place? And it's unfortunately not really that different. I don't blame him for not wanting to bring his son there, to subject him to the things that Yona and Master Wan and others had to and still have to go through. It's a sad ending. Not just because it ends with his death, but because of the hopeless feeling that it kind of ends with. But it's well made in that regard. It's well written, it's well performed, well directed. To where, while it is a sad ending, it feels right. It feels like just some fairy tale happy ending here wouldn't be natural, wouldn't be genuine, wouldn't be real. Everything that Master Eep has gone through, all the losses he's faced, the challenges he's stood up against, this is the culmination of everything. And just like every time before, he stood up for what was right. He didn't back down. And he protected those that he cared for. And he showed what it truly meant to be a great person. And I don't know how accurate, like, a lot of this is. I know a lot of the story is fake and everything, but, like, I don't know, like, if Master Eep was genuinely like this or not, or if this is more of a fictionalized personality given to the character version of him here. In the same way that I don't know if, like, Bruce Lee was really like that. I don't know. But based just on the character, on my experience with these movies and the characterized version of him here, it's like, this is a good person who has made mistakes, yes, but has always had the best intention and has always tried to help people. He's inspiring. He's wonderful. He's awesome. And you see all these other characters throughout these movies. And just in this film alone. And you connect with them. You connect with their struggles, their stories, their fights, everything. it's kind of amazing how well that's handled. And I think the only thing that you could say in any way negatively about this film is that a couple of the plot lines were wrapped up rather quickly. The plot line with Ching being a moody teenager and everything was like kind of resolved in one small scene, and then it was just like finalized at the very end of the film. And the thing with Becky, it's like Becky just stops appearing after a certain point. It's like after she like tells her dad what happened, or her skewed racist version of what happened. And then her dad like just kind of like gives Mr. Wan up to the Marines, and then it's just like that story just kind of ends. There's never any kind of closure for the entire thing with Becky's father and Yona, and how she was pleading for it all to just stop. Like, he kind of gave this look like maybe like where he was possibly thinking like, okay, this has gone on far enough. Maybe we'll just end it here. But nothing was ever really confirmed, and it's kind of just up in the air if that's what the look he gave meant. But he was also being extremely racist as well, so hard to say, probably not like a really positive ending for that. So it's likely that Yona probably would continue to get bullied and everything for her race. It's fucking terrible. This movie got me really emotional. It got me very angry. Like, I was steaming. Um, but it gave me contentment. When all was said and done, when all was finished, seeing Bruce Lee come to like his master's funeral and everything, seeing how it ends, I felt content. I felt like this is the end. This is what this is meant to be. So again, the fact that they're making another one that's like just an Eat Man 5 and not like just a spin-off just feels weird to me. Maybe it'll be good. It's very possible, hell, very probable that it could be very good. But I'm still worried about it just because of how this film wrapped everything up. I mean, again, if nothing else, you're going to have to go back in time because this movie literally ends with his death. Unless you like have it be about his legacy after his death, then you would have to go back in time. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what that's going to cover. I don't know what that's going to be like, but this movie just was great. It was a fantastic closure to the series. And no matter what happens with 5, I think this will end up continuing to be a fantastic close to how the series like kind of ends throughout his legacy, throughout his living legacy and all. Um, but yeah, so let me see here, just to make sure on something. Da, 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 da. There is one spin-off, it looks like. Because there's the first 3 Eatmans, And then there was Master Z, Ipman Legacy in 2018. That actually was before this one. Um, and apparently, according to this, it has some pretty big name actors in it. Dave Bautista, Michelle Yeoh. That's pretty good. Apparently, there's going to be a sequel to Master Z. And of course, there's going to be Ip Man 5. So there are two more films coming out in the future. And we still have one film that's already out still. So again, if Matthew, if you end up donating for it, or if someone else donates for it, or whatever, I'm very much willing to watch it. I've said before, this is my first real foray into these kung fu films. I've seen maybe clips and everything here and there before, but never really watched one of these films all the way through. And definitely never watched a full series of them before. Ip Man was my introduction to this kind of stuff, and so I'm very much willing to watch the spin-off. I'm very much willing to watch number 5 when it comes out. Even if it doesn't end up being good, I'm still willing to give it a chance. Um, but yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how things go, and maybe there will be more Ip Man in the future on the channel. For the time being, though, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Ip Man 4? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Let me know, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.